Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 texting platforms that are out there for real estate wholesalers and investors. I'm going to give you a real life opinion and rate them 1 through 5 because I've used some of them for a couple of months, some of them for a couple of years. So I have an honest opinion of each single one of them. We're going to talk about pricing, user friendliness, deliverability, and all the other features that these platforms provide. So we're going to start from worst to best in my personal opinion. Number 5 is batch leads. So batch leads, it was one of those platforms that I actually started with back in 2020 when I started texting. Texting was, I wouldn't say just started off because it's probably been around since like 2018, 2017. But in 2020, it was still somewhat under the radar. And batch leads was one of those texting platforms that was actually providing the opportunity to text. And it was really good. Back then, the carriers were not really blocking you too much. You didn't have to jump through a lot of hoops to actually text message. You didn't have to register your company, do all that stuff. So think times were different. So batch leads did really well. I got my first probably 10 to 15 deals through batch leads, and I really did like it. However, after some time, other platforms came into the space and provided more value than batch leads could. Nowadays, batch leads is okay. It's a decent platform. It does offer a variety of things that you can do on the platform, right? From skip tracing to pulling leads and all that good stuff. They have a dialer. So there is a lot of things this platform does. In my personal opinion, it does a lot of things good, okay, but none of them in the perfect, exceptional way. When it comes to pricing, in order to get access to texting, you have to pay $349 a month and connect it to Twilio. Twilio, on top of that, will also charge you money. And for the sake of this video, for each platform, I'm going to compare them if you were to text 20,000 messages a month. So if you're going to text 20,000 messages a month, you're also going to pay about $100 to $150 on Twilio, which then if you add the $350 to it, it's about $500 a month to use batch leads and actually have access to texting. I just think they can't even stop advertising the texting too much. I think they recognize their deliverability was lower. They recognize that it's not as good anymore and that other platforms are doing it much better than them, so they're concentrating on other things. So that's why batch leads is a number 5. Number 4 is Lead Sherpa. Lead Sherpa, about 2 to 3 years ago, if you asked me, I would have told you it's a very, very good platform. I would put them in top 2, maybe top 3, but it's really good platform back there. Now, what happened over the last 3 years that actually were out of business? So, well, not out of business per se, but out of the texting industry. When these new regulations came out called 10DLC, right, the different carriers started regulating these texting platforms, Lead Sherpa, for some reason, had a lot of issues. Obviously, I don't know their background issues, their business issues or whatever, but they were out of the game for almost 2 years. I tried to sign up for them multiple times during that time, and obviously they kept saying, no, come back later. Eventually, they were back in the business, and I even tried them out. And here's my honest opinion. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't the same Lead Sherpa that I remember, but I will say this. It's still a decent UI. It's very nicely done. The problem is that after they came back, they've had to put certain limitation on things, and now you actually have to still integrate with Twilio, which you will notice throughout the video that I really don't like when platforms require you to integrate with Twilio, because I do believe that creates an extra step, an extra complexity to the whole process. And when you are doing the business and there's so many things you have to worry about, setting up the platform and worry about a million other things, it's probably not something you really want to do. Their base plan is $150 a month, but that limits you to only 500 messages a day, which I really hate because here's the thing. Let's say you are working, you're probably not working every single day on texting. You're probably doing texting for so many days and you're doing other stuff for the other days, looking at property, doing this and that if you're solo wholesaling. But obviously if you have VAs, they're also working on a schedule, right? They're working 5 days a week or whatever it is. So a lot of times you will be set, you want to maximize the amount of messages you send within the day. So let's say if you work 20 days out of the month on texting, you only are able to text 10,000 messages with that plan. So you're kind of limited. So therefore, if you want to send 20,000 messages, you do have to go to their next tier plan, which is $500 a month. But here's the thing, right? If you're doing the $500 a month, you're still doing the Twilio integration, and you add another $100, $150 on top of that, it will end up costing you $600 to $650 for Lead Sherpa. But the good thing about that is it's actually offering you some skip tracing as well in their plans, which is nice. I've tried their skip tracing like a couple years ago. It was solid. I was kind of surprised. It was good comparing to some other ones because Sherpa doesn't advertise their skip tracing too much, but I wouldn't say it's like spectacular and like one of a kind or whatever it is. So it's okay. It does the job. So the fact that they provide free skip tracing is not bad. Might be a perk for you. Delivery rate and some limitations does make it questionable for me, and especially they've been on the game for so long. Makes me question how much they've kept up with how the game have changed. Number three, it's actually might be one of your favorites if you've been researching texting. REI Reply. REI Reply is a solid texting platform, but has a tons of issues while having a tons of perks. I've used REI Reply over the last 5 years, probably 2 times. And, first period maybe was like 4 or 6 months. And the second period was maybe another 2 months, 3 months or whatever, because my lunch control actually shut down. So I had to switch to another platform and I tried REI Reply then. So REI Reply is very different from all the other texting platforms. It's has so much in it, from automations to like website building to this to that. You go on their dashboard and there's like so much. So you're kind of like maybe a little bit even confused, scattered. Personally, I was, until I kind of learned how the platform works. So I'm not biggest fan of the platform. I think it has too much, and that's actually a problem that some platforms might have. It's too much. There's also a problem. Obviously, there's not enough, and there's too much, right? So I think REI Reply does too much, and there are issues with deliverability. There are issues with response rate. I personally had issues with customer service whenever they can shut down your campaign slash account mid messaging, and then you have to figure it out with customer service what happened, and it takes time for customer service to get back to you, and they're not super clear about sometimes certain things, and you still have to integrate with Twilio, by the way. So that's also there. The good thing about our reply, the automations make it really, really solid. Like, and there's no other platform that does it like they do. If you ever work with Zapier or Make.com or whatever it is, it actually automates your campaigns, how you want to send, when do you want to send this and that. So it's pretty cool. So if you are into those things, you might enjoy our reply because you can like very personalize your experience. The problem is, again, most people don't want to do that. You want to go into a platform, you want to know your delivery rate is going to be solid. You want to know the moment there's a problem, it's solved. You want to know those things, right? So you don't want to like finagle with it throughout the whole time you're using it. So if you are just looking for a seamless experience, iRead Reply is not it at all. The price of Real Reply is one of the reasons people like it a lot, actually. It's $100 a month, and on top of that, you are paying Twilio. So let's say you're sending 20,000 messages, it's going to be another 100 to 150. So you're spending only $250 a month to use the platform, which is extremely cheap. Comparing to all the other ones, anywhere between $500 to $800, it is very cheap. So I totally understand why people use it. However, I think when you're getting more serious about the business, REI Reply is not the way to go. Number two is launch control. I use launch control for a long time. I would say I've used launch control for about a year, maybe a little more, between 2023 and 2024 during that period of time. And I really did enjoy it. Back then, I was trying to figure out which one I want to use, launch control or smarter contact. And I was kind of in between those two. And launch control did perform pretty well. The UI is super user friendly. The delivery rate was pretty good. The follow up campaign, the drips, all that stuff is done really well. Like, you go in, it kind of feels like a platform that's done for you. The same reason why it's good is the same reason why it's bad. It's very limited. There's only so many things you can do. It's really good at those things, but it's very limited. So I'll give you a couple examples, right? Let's say you start texting, you sign up for their plan and you want to buy a phone number from a different market and you want to text that market. Well, it's not just buying a phone number. So you actually have to buy a market, which is like $300 to $500. I forgot how much it is at this point. I think it was $397 if I remember correctly. So you pay to buy another market. That's per monthly cost, not even just one-time cost. You pay that monthly to get another market, and then they give you phone numbers from that market. If you think that, okay, well, it's expensive, but at least I can do that. Not really. So for the cheap plan, you can't do that. For the more expensive plan, you can, but you can only do like one market. And then if you're doing the most expensive plan, I think you can do 2 additional markets. So you can do 3 markets total. It really limits to how you can expand your business and grow. You don't even have to go to a different state. For example, living in Pinellas County or Tampa Bay area, I actually had to buy phone numbers for Pinellas County, for Polk County, for this county, for Hillsborough County, whatever it is. So this area of Florida has like 4 or 5 area codes, and I wanted to have all of them because your deliverability rate and your response rate is much better when your phone number is local. So that's one of the limitations, right? The other limitation is that you only have so many messages a month you can send. Let's say you sign up, and if you want to send 20,000 messages a month, you have to pay $797 or whatever, $800 a month. And when you pay that much money, you are limited to 20,000 messages. You cannot go over the 20,000 limit. Can I pay more to go over the limit? No, you're stuck at that limit for that month and period. If you want more, you have to upgrade to the next plan, which costs you 14 something. So like almost $1,500. That makes no sense. Personally, for me, it didn't. That limitation also sucks. And here's the third limitation that really, really killed it for me. So, for example, I've been in this business since 2020, so quite some time now. And there are areas where I do a lot of land wholesaling, right? And land is not like hops. It's like land. Let's say there's 4,000 vacant lots in this area. Every year there's less and less of them, obviously, because people are building. But this 4,000 vacant lots. Eventually, I rerun this list a couple of times a year because people change their mind, things happen, people pass away, their kids inherited, whatever, whatever, whatever. So like this area consistently moving. So I have this list that I want to consistently work on. Here's the problem. When you are using launch control, they only allow you to send initial campaign message to a lead only once. And that lead is in your system. You cannot delete it. You cannot do anything. I tried, trust me. You can do initial message. You can do 3 follow-up campaigns, I think, and you're done. So if somebody didn't respond to you within 4 messages, they're done. They're out of your system. You can't get through them. You can't text them separately, none of that stuff. You're just blocked from texting them. And you can say, well, 4 messages should be enough for someone to reply. I remember looking back at my new platform that I use that's actually going to be in the number 1 in this list. Sometimes we text people like 6, 7 times over like span of a couple of years until they actually respond. It's very interesting. All right. So I truly believe that that limitation also screws you up as well. So that's my honest thought process, that those 3 limitations make this platform very limited. So you cannot go and explore your creativity and do, certain campaigns and this and that. But certain features of launch control do make it really good. Delivery rate, the templates, they have like certain messages that rotate, like not just a message in between, words within the templates rotate, which is cool. I've never seen anyone do that. Right. So there's a lot of things they do well, but maybe as a starter platform, it's not bad if you do the $500 plan because it's all inclusive that $500 and you're starting. But honestly, you want a platform that's willing to scale with you, because you don't want to be switching between platforms. So in my opinion, if you can sign up for a platform from the beginning that's going to be scaling with you, I believe that's the best option you can go with. That's why my personal choice of the number 1 texting platform is Smarter Contact. I've been using Smarter Contact for almost 2 years at this point, and I've used them before, and then I switched back because they were still in the beginning phases or maybe some development phases. So there were some things I liked, some things I didn't. But now I feel like the platform has obviously made their name for themselves, and they obviously beat all the competition. And I think that the best competition they probably have is Launch Control, and even they, Launch Control, can't keep up of how Smarter Contact does business, from delivery rates to response rate to freedom. For example, I was just moving to a North Carolina market, right? So I just closed my first deal in North Carolina, and guess what? I'm here in Florida, right? So I actually bought just a phone number. I think I paid a couple of dollars for a phone number in Smarter Contact and started texting the list in North Carolina. I didn't have to jump through hoops, do any of that stuff, whatever. So it's honestly beautiful, right? So just being able to buy a number, and you're in any market you want, and you don't are not limited by how many numbers you can have or any of that stuff, whatever it is. The limitless opportunity that Smarter Contact provide is the reason I believe they're a number 1 platform for wholesalers and investors out there. They've added cool automations, the follow-up campaigns, the drips. They actually have a dialer now, which is actually really solid as well. So there's a lot of things they have done which make them, in my opinion, over the last 2 years have went from like number 2 or number 3 platform. They are number 1 platform 100% right now out there. So I truly believe they've done a great job. When it comes to pricing, the cheapest one is $199 a month, I believe, but it's a quarterly, right? So you have to pay 3 months. But if you are wanting to send 20,000 messages a month, you have to pay $800 a month, right? You don't need Twilio, you don't need any of that stuff. You're doing everything in Smarter Contact, and that 800 includes your text messages. Here's the thing. I actually have partnered with Smarter Contact since I've been using them for so long and I really like their platform. I've partnered with them and I'm offering all my viewers. So if you're watching this, you can actually use the code Ralph. And if you use the link in the pinned comment and use the code Ralph when you sign up. So when you go to sign up to a subscription plan, you're going to, in the promo code area, put in the name Ralph. So when you do that, you actually get $200 off any plan you choose. So if you choose the $200 a month plan and choose 3 months, that's 1 month free. If you choose the $800 a month plan and you get $200 off, that's $600 a month. And that's probably the best value. That's cheaper than Launch Control, cheaper than any of them out there. And I think that this actually provides you with opportunity to start texting for a very good price and explore the platform for yourself and see if you like it and enjoy it as much as I do. So this is my list. And if you are using a texting platform now, why are you watching this video? Are you not enjoying your platform? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm very curious to see and hear if you've used other platforms and what's your feedback. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.